Well guys, we got our druid built up, and we are in a level 70 dungeon at level 50. This is our capstone dungeon to move over to tier 4, which we are severely under leveled for, but we are going to give it a try. Starting out, I'm going to show off the build though. Now again, a lot of this stuff isn't even necessarily proper level for me, but we got the Vasili's Prayer, which turns our Earth skills over into Werebear skills as well, so it counts as both. And both fortify me. We have just a generic chest piece that heals for life per second when I'm close to enemies. We got the gloves with the aspect where whenever we have fortify, our Earth skills get +2 ranks. What that means is if we are fortified, our pulverize is going to get +2. Now, this, I still need to get a good rolled gloves, or get some good rolled gloves, I should say, because these do not have my +2 to pulverize, and the crit strike damage with werewolf is kind of pointless because I'm running werebear. But we want to get that Earth skills deal X amount more damage, critical damage to crowd controlled enemies. Our pants, we have the duration for Earth and Bulwark. That is our kind of oh shit button. It gives us the barrier. I'll show off skills in a second here. Our boots, damage from Earth skills slow enemies hit by 25%. We have our pulverize aspect on this, which makes a shockwave that travels forward, dealing bonus damage. Always try and get a two-hander if you're running this build, because it makes the power-up work even stronger for the aspect that's popped on. We have attacking enemies with basic skill, increases the damage of your next core skill cast. We have pulverize is now an Earth skill. Now that works really well with everything else because that means that my pulverize will slow enemies as well as fortify me. And then we have core skills deal extra damage based on our fortify. Going over to our abilities, it is very straightforward. If you don't have the said helmet, that turns Earth skills into werebear, because that means if I hit X, that Earth spike turns me into a bear. If you do not have that helmet, you're going to want to go with Maul. Storm Strike is another very solid choice, but due to some later choices in our skill tree that you'll see, we want to stick with the Maul, that way we're not having to switch out a bear a whole lot. We have, now again this is level 50 build, you're going to want to prioritize getting Pulverize up with Primal, which is a debuff on enemies, and Pulverize will overpower every 12 seconds while you remain healthy. When your health is past, I believe it's at 80%, it shows right there. We have, essentially this part is literally all about spirit. Your core skills cost more, but you deal more. Basic skills, that's your auto attack type of section up here. Generates more spirit, which is your resource, and you need the 1 point into that to unlock those two. We have 3 into that to buff the crit chance against close enemies by 6, and 9% damage reduction while in werebear. Now, if we're never leaving werebear, that is a permanent bonus. We got our oh shit button. It gives us barrier based on 45% of our max life. And it gives us unstoppable so we can't be CC'd, rooted, and so on. Makes you unstoppable, and grants the fortify. Debilitating Roar, we only really need 1 point into this. It is a very strong debuff, 70% less damage dealt, and it covers almost the entire screen. Our Enhance makes it fortify us as well, and it heals us. The heal isn't as big of a thing, but it still is handy. We skip out on that entire section because this is our bear build. Trample we pretty much just take for our movement. It's sadly like the only movement skill a druid gets. We have our enhanced trample, extra damage, needs to be grabbed so that we can get this, which fortifies us. Now this whole build is based around us fortifying ourselves and getting bonuses from that. Earth skills deal extra damage to CC'd enemies. Crit strikes with Earth skills fortify us. So, you know, we were talking about the raised crit from the earlier passive and our Pulverize being turned into an Earth skill. We get fortified a ton, which makes us take 10% less damage. Fortify is essentially a separate bar that'll show off that you needs to be higher than your current health, which we're almost always at max fortify. While you have fortify over 50% of your max life, your earth skills deal more damage. That's our pulverize, which is our main damage dealer. Pulverize counts as nature magic, I believe. We will double check that right now. Yes, it does, because it is also an earth skill now. Earth skill is nature magic. Let's go back down here. We get extra damage to elites. We get a bit of a heal off of our Pulverize. Deals bonus damage. And extra damage to vulnerable with the earth skills. This is pretty handy as well. It gives us 20% bonus damage and 20% damage reduction by our earth skills being turned into werebear skills as well. We don't have to worry about, if you use this without that helmet, you would lose access to the barrier and any things that classified as earth skills. We get unstoppable. And finally our last passive, which is our key passive. We have a chance to get all of our resource back from an earth skill. The chance is increased but for crit strikes and if the things are CC'd. So that shows off the basics of the build. We are going to go and showcase this in the level 70 dungeon now. So let's find some enemies. That's blocked off. Here we go. Get our overshield, get our debuff on enemies, damage buff from the Grizzly's Rage. And you can see this is just busted. We shouldn't be able to kill stuff in the level 70 zone. You can see we definitely still get hit hard, but of course that's to be expected. We're in a 70 zone with a level 50 character. Now, see, we're kiting. We definitely do enough damage to kill here. Gonna take a look here. Don't know why that's only dropping at level 50 when we're in the 70 zone. But you can see that we aren't struggle busting here too hard. You know, granted, these are trash mobs. Buff. Kite around. And boom. So definitely do need to kite if you're as underleveled. Oh. But we definitely do pack a lot of damage with this build, and we are very, very tanky with it as well. We are on World Tier 3 right now. If we leave here and go to a proper area place, let's go to... There's no hell raised spots on the map right now. So we'll just go to Tarsarak, as there's quite a bit of mobs around there in the little desert area around it. Now, this ain't no barbarian hitting millions of damage, but if we're being realistic here with that whirlwind build, that's probably going to get nerfed. I don't think they're going to touch this. So we pretty much one-hit almost everything that we run into with the stacks built up. And when stacks aren't built up, we still do considerable damage. The stacks that I'm talking about is the Pulverize Enhanced stack, where every 12 seconds we deal overpowered damage based on our current life and fortified life, which essentially mega buffs the crap out of our damage once every 12 seconds. So you group everything. You know, as a druid, it's our duty to protect nature here. But you can group everything together, get your damage buff off, and boom. It just shreds everything, even if it's higher level, unless, of course, you're in the capstone dungeon, which it still does pretty good damage. If you guys like this build, please like and subscribe, and let me know what kind of content you want to see with Diablo being a new game. As always, have a great day.